Hello everyone, we are taking charge of every facet of our lives, and this is Take Charge with Sophie. My name is Sophia Kafui Teye. In this episode, we'll be talking about financing our home through mortgages. We'll delve into what a mortgage is, who qualifies for a mortgage, the benefits of a mortgage, and many more. The mortgage episode will be in 2 sessions. I'll do the first part, and I'll bring in a mortgage expert in our next session to take us through the myths people have about mortgages as far as how long it takes for people to pay and how people have been able to pay their mortgages ahead of time. Will be handled by the expert, but I will just introduce you to mortgages and then we'll take it from there. So typically, a mortgage is an agreement between you and a financial institution. So they provide a funding for you to buy a property that you are interested in, and then you actually share the title with them. You pay a portion of your principal and interest from time to time, and if you are able to finish paying within the specified number of years, some are 15 years, some mortgages are 10 years, some are even 30 years, up to 30 years, depending on how the mortgage product is structured. The interesting thing is I don't have to wait till the actual tenure of the mortgage before you decide to finish paying. The basic thing is that a bank or a financial institution provides you with the funding to buy a property you are interested in. So you live in the property while you pay for it, but usually it's more than 5 years, 10 years, 15, basically, those are some of the things. But it comes with terms and conditions. Originally, if your property is purchased, it will be registered both in your name and that of the institution that provided the funding. If you are able to pay on time and you are done, then the title will be transferred to you as the sole owner. But if you fail in actually paying for the mortgage, or you default in the monthly repayments and you do not go to contact them for other arrangements, whatsoever the reason may be, then they will take over the property. A lot of us have heard a lot of harrowing stories about landlord-tenant relationship. Some landlords would, especially landlords that live in the same house with their tenants, will say, don't pound fufu in my home, don't make noise, don't bring this visitor, and all that. Sometimes it can be very, very frustrating for tenants who want to have some form of independence, but the landlord will not give you that kind of luxury, and most of the time the landlord reminding you of the fact, landlord or landlady, reminding you of the fact that, do you know how much it costs to buy land? Do you know how much it costs to buy cement? And all the ridicules and heckles here and there. Some of us have also heard very weird stories or have had weird experiences with some neighbors and co-tenants. Some neighbors and co-tenants who won't mind their business, poking their nose into our affairs. I mean, if I ask people to share comments or experiences with co-tenants and neighbors, I'm sure people will type all manner of things in the comment section. How neighbors are nosy, how neighbors will come and take your things without replacing it, how neighbors will come. So many news and stuff that people experience from their neighbors, even though there are good size of neighbors or co-tenants. A lot of people mostly want to share the negative side of how annoying their co-tenants are and how nosy some of them may be from time to time. We have also all heard about how people go to a very extreme extent of renovating houses owned by others. Like they renovate the kitchen to suit their taste, they renovate the washrooms and the halls and all that. And these are more like actually changing the outlook of how the place is to suit their taste before they actually live in there. And they do all this, and then when the tenancy arrangement expires, maybe a year or 2, and the landlord decides that I'm not going to rent the place to you again, they have made very huge changes to someone else's property, and they may have to move out to go and search for another house. that they still may have to make a lot of changes to meet their taste. How about people who have had very bad experiences as far as buying land is concerned? You buy land and then you pay for it twice, or you buy land and maybe you possibly bought it from the wrong person, or you bought it from a family and then there are issues and you end up actually forgetting about the land and all that. People have had those experiences too. Some people have also had those experiences where the land is safe, they paid for it, they have title, but when they start working on the land guards actually come in to attack them, harass the masons, the workers, the foreman, and all that. It becomes very, very difficult. Even the whole process of getting permits to build and all the hassle becomes very frustrating for a lot of people. There are lots of people who also want to build, but because they don't have enough time, they may have to outsource everything to the foreman to do. And we've heard a lot of stories of foremans actually stealing building materials, increasing the prices of the building materials, and people have actually paid more than 50% above the market prices of building materials because they hand over the whole project to someone else to do for them. With all these frustrations, and then some people too have their lands, all right, they've started building, but it takes them forever to finish that building. People start building, they said they are building their dream homes, and then they end up not finishing. Those houses end up becoming their funeral homes, and the house will be built to some parts and they leave it hanging, and then it gets to a point in their lives where maybe death snatches them out of this world, and now the family members will have to now complete this house, and they'll come and lay the person's body in that house and do the funeral over there. So their dream homes actually become their funeral homes, and these are not the kind of things that we want to go through. Why would you want to be moving from one area to the other, jumping from one house to the other, when there's an opportunity for you to take a mortgage to actually pay for a property, for you to live in the house whilst enjoy the house yourself, the luxury that comes with it, the convenience that comes with it, the comfort that comes with it, and the relief that comes with it whilst you work to pay it. Those are some of the things that, mortgages actually provide for us. So I want to quickly take us through what the benefits of mortgages are. So mortgages, loans that are covered. The bank you only need to be paying, servicing your principal and your interest portion from time to time. You continue to remain the legal co-owner of the property whilst you use it. And mostly mortgages are easily approved, especially if you qualify for it. And then it also helps you address all the challenges I've mentioned earlier, the struggle with landlords, the struggles with renovation that will be a thing of the past, the struggle with land guards, the struggle with land documentation, and all that will be a thing of the past because the property is already titled. You don't have to go through all those hassles anymore. And then mostly the interest rates on mortgages are lower than the interest rates you pay on your personal loans. There are also flexible payment tenures depending on what you arrange with your mortgage service provider. And there's no restrictions on how you can use the property. Basically, those are some of the things. But the interesting thing is that who qualifies for a mortgage? You must be an individual of working age, that is 21 years and above. You should earn income or salary or be self-employed. So once you are 21 years and above, you are actually actively working, either your personal business or you are on a salary. That will make it easier for the bank to actually deduct. You should be a credit-worthy person. You know, a lot of people just go in for loans and they don't want to pay back. But mortgage is like a contract or an agreement. So if you have to qualify for a mortgage, remember somebody is giving you money. The money that the bank is giving you is someone else's money that is being given you so you can use to purchase property, enjoy the comfort and the benefits that comes with it whilst you pay it. So you have to purpose in your heart that if you go in for a mortgage from a company, you are going to actually pay back. So you don't have a history of I mean, when you borrow, you don't pay. A lot of us have very bad habits. We borrow from our friends, we don't pay. So we think we can take same to financial institutions. We've seen very weird circulations on social media from a particular local financial institution, like an NBFI, a non-bank financial institution, where when you borrow and you are not paying, they send tax after you to come and threaten you. They write on your walls and all that. I mean, if you are creditworthy, you didn't get to that extent. The interesting thing is that mortgages are available to resident Ghanaians and non-resident Ghanaians. The interesting thing is that people are living outside of this country, and then they give monies to people to build for them. They are toiling in the cold. They're struggling, working so hard, doing 2 or 3 or 4 jobs, making money, sending money to someone to build for them. And the interesting thing is that these people could be relatives, could be friends, and they send them pictures of projects ongoing. But a lot of stories turn out that the buildings may not be actual buildings, might be someone else's property that pictures were taken to just fulfill righteousness by sending to the person who sent the money. We've also heard harrowing stories of people who have built houses for their relatives outside the Ghanaian jurisdiction or African jurisdiction. Then they come back, and then the people are actually occupying the building. Or we hear weird stories of people actually forgetting that they even have a house because they believe that some spiritual incantations have been done, so that the person will forget that he or she even owns a property and all that. You can be in Ghana here, just buy a house, you move in, bank provides the funding, and you should be willing to also commit yourself to it by providing the portion. Mostly some banks want you to produce 20% of the amounts, and then they provide the 80%. So non-resident Ghanaians can also take advantage of mortgages to buy properties that will be here for them, so that anytime they return to their country, they have a place they can walk in and then live in peacefully without any family stress and hassles and conflicts here and there. What are the requirements for people who want to take mortgages? You have to go to your mortgage service provider. You need to complete a mortgage application form. There will be a lot of information that you need to provide the mortgage service provider, just like any other loan. Remember, this is like a long-term loan, so you have to provide all the information required, and then submit 3 months pay slip. That is if you are actually a salaried worker. But if you are not a salaried worker and you have a business, you may have to also provide maybe some financial statement, proof of maybe your cash flows and all that, to show that you'll be able to actually pay. Then submit 6-month bank statement showing your salary if you are a salaried worker, or any other thing that will be required for those who are not salaried workers but are actually running their own business. And then there will be an offer letter or sale or purchase agreement. Most of the time, the real estate company that is selling the house to you must offer you the house. You understand? Or a purchase agreement, like an agreement that they want to sell. So if I'm the one buying, maybe I'm buying from Chain Homes or something, they may have to share with me an offer letter or sale or purchase agreement. Then that is what I will take to my financial institution. And then I have to also submit my proof of residence, where I live currently, and then my identity. Now in Ghana, we know Ghana card is the proof of identity, and any other thing that the bank will require. So you realize that it is not so complicated at all for you to take mortgages. Why risk being in all manner of places, having very weird neighbors, having your children grow in some neighborhoods that may not be so interesting, when you can actually get a nice place, choose correct neighbors to some extent, and then you can also enjoy the use of your building whilst you work to pay for it, so that it doesn't take you years to build that dream home that never gets completed, and then it doesn't actually change into a funeral home last minute if you are not able to finish it before you pass on. So mortgages are good. Don't be afraid to go in for mortgages. Just make sure that you meet the requirements, and the requirement is so basic. And just make sure that you are choosing a property that its repayment will not be so much above your personal threshold and your tolerance level. The interesting thing about mortgages is that mortgages actually come with insurance and all that. So if you are paying and at some point of your life you die, your people will still own the house because of the mortgage insurance and all that. So why stay in a neighborhood you are not happy with? Why tolerate some form of quote-unquote nonsense from some landlord or weird attitudes and behaviors from co-tenants when you can own a home? Take charge of your peace of mind. Take charge of your residential location. Take charge of the safety of your family by going in for a mortgage. Enjoy the comforts and the convenience that comes with it, and make up your mind that you will pay for it. Thank you for making time to watch this episode. The next session we'll have an expert coming in so we can talk about what you can do to pay off your mortgage even before the 10 years or 15 years or 30 years time that the mortgage may be structured. And then more insight will be shared by the specialist in our next episode. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Comment, ask questions, we'll respond to them, and share our videos with family and friends so they can also benefit. And press the notification button so you can get notified anytime we make a post on how you can take charge of every facet of your life. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.